Okay, hello and welcome. We are so glad that you were able to join us today for this amazing presentation from the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. They are going to discuss their national internship program today, but we're going to start by posting a poll. So if you could please answer those questions for us, or excuse me, one single question. What is your level of knowledge of the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities National Internship Program? Just a couple more people answer the poll, and okay, let's go ahead and end the poll. So you can see students have limited knowledge about this program. So it's very exciting to be able to introduce them today. Anna, if you will please take a screenshot of the poll. Okay. So again, I'd like to welcome you. We have two illustrious speakers here today, both Hannah Roberg and Anthony Hernandez. I'm going to start with Hannah and tell you a little bit about Hannah. Hannah Roberg, LLM, is the director of HACU's National Internship Program and Strategic Initiatives. Looking forward to and she's looking forward to presenting to you today. And all the available opportunities with the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. Hannah is a Fulbright scholar and has worked in education for the past 7 years, abroad and domestically, at nonprofits to research institutions like the University of Wisconsin-Madison. As a passionate advocate for education accessibility, Hannah is excited to share opportunities with HACU. We will turn it over to Hannah. Welcome, Hannah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for introducing me. Like Jan said, I'm so happy to be here with all of you today and to take this opportunity to share some information about HACU's National Internship Program. I am joined here with my colleague, Anthony Hernandez, who I will pass it over to shortly. But first, I just want to start with some history and some background with the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. Anthony, if you wouldn't mind switching to the next slide. So what is HACU? HACU is the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. We are a nonprofit that was established back in 1986. Our purpose is to advocate for and serve Hispanic serving institutions. With that being said, most of our student programming, in particular our federal internship program, is open to all students. So there's no limitation in that regard. So I'm super excited for us, like I said, to share this opportunity with you today. We will be focusing on our federal internship program, but we will also touch on some other services and programs offered by HACU, just so you are aware of them as well. And with that, I will be turning it over to my colleague, Anthony Hernandez. Like I said, Anthony is the program coordinator of HACU's National Internship Program, again, on the federal side. He has joined us from working with college students for the past several years, specifically with outreach and engagement. And we are happy to have him on board as we reach out to all of you today and share these opportunities, as we all at HACU here believe that a good educational experience also includes that professional experience. So we are happy to share that with you. And with that, I will hand it over to Anthony.
Thank you, Hannah. Uh, Happy to be with you all to share with you all this opportunity. And so I'll just continue on in the presentation. So what is the National Internship Program? Well, it is a paid internship. And so we do have rates that go for undergraduate, graduate, and graduate students. And these internships, they do take place in DC, and you'll be with a federal department. And so you'll get real life experience. And although it is busy work, we all have it. And you'll have a lot of experience within that. And so for the application itself there is no application fees. So you can apply as many times as you want, actually, because we do have 3 sessions and fall, spring, and summer, and you can apply for every session. Actually, we kind of encourage that because depending on the session, your major may be more in need. But then again, I'll get more into that later on. So with the internship program, we do offer travel to the orientation sites. Now this, of course, will be more pertinent when we begin to do things in person. But for now, this is just information that you'll need to know, because like I said, although we're presenting to you here now, always keep this in mind that this program is here and will continue to exist. And so just keeping that in mind, we also will have housing, which we'll cover further along. But also with the internship program, because some of them are full-time, and in the spring, you may need to maybe take less classes. Do take in consideration that although we can't guarantee it, you do check with your home institute, and there could be an opportunity for you to earn academic credit while being in your internship. Again, that's something that you'll have to check with your home institute if they can do that, but we will help you and what you need in order for you to get academic credit for your internship. And also during the internship itself, there will be monitoring and evaluation to make sure that you're having the best experience as possible. Also with that, we'll also have professional development sessions that will be on topics. Even today, we just had one on personal branding. And so it's good experience, not just for working, but even to help you beyond the internship experience. And so how do you become a HACU intern? You have to be currently enrolled in a degree seeking program, and it can be an associate's, bachelor's, and master's. We do ask on our application that you have a certificate of enrollment, verifying that you are currently enrolled in classes. And students that graduate in spring, they can apply for summer 2022 internships. But if you graduate in the fall, you cannot go for the spring 2022, as you will not be currently enrolled, but for the summers you can. Another requirement is that you have to have finished your first year of college before the internship starts. And so if you're a freshman, that does mean that you can apply for summer 2022 internships because you will have finished your first year. And for our GPA requirement, we recommend 3.0 out of a 4.0 scale. This isn't to deter you if you do not have a 3.0. We still encourage you to apply because there are some that are accepted that do not have a 3.0. It'll just depend on the position and things like that. But we recommend it because we want your application to look as best as possible, because we are going to give your application to the departments and they'll go through the process. And so this is something that they'll see. So again, this is not a hard set requirement. It's just something that we recommend. And this goes also for asking for US citizenship. Again, we are the part of the federal internship, and we deal with federal departments, and a lot of them require security clearances. And in order to obtain certain security clearances, you have to be a US citizen. That's not our rule. It's just how how it goes in order to obtain a security clearance. But again, if you are not a US citizen or DACA, whichever one, we still encourage you, because there is a possibility that we have some roles or some positions that you can still fill. And if not, we will point you to our corporate HNIP program, which we'll also talk about later, but they also can help you out in finding internships as well. And so now the application process itself, you'll have to go to the HNIP website. You'll have to have your information, add your education. And when it comes to references, we will also ask for a letter of recommendation. So again, we encourage you, if you want to have a competitive application, to have a good recommendation letter, which means that it's from someone that you really know, and someone that can speak well of you. So we definitely encourage that. And if you don't have anyone, we encourage you to get to know some of your professors, go to their office hours so that they can be able to know you and be able to write a good recommendation letter for you. Sorry. And then during adding your work history, we definitely want you to add anything that you feel that can fit in. It doesn't always necessarily have to be aligned with what you think will look good concerning the position. Even if you were a waiter or just worked at a grocery store, it doesn't matter. It's all good experience that you need to have added that will help your application look a lot better. And when it comes to this, we definitely encourage you to visit your writing centers. On every campus has them. They have writing centers, career centers. They can definitely help you out with this to make your work history and even the essay portion so that it can look a lot crisper, cleaner, so that, again, your application can look the best. And again, every college campus has it. I'm sure yours does. If you haven't been there yet, look it up. You can find your career center and your writing center, and they can really help you with this. Also, you'll need to upload your official transcripts along with your enrollment verification and letter of recommendation. Those are the three things that we will ask you to upload. And so this is housing and travel. Again, in pre-COVID, we covered all this, and it was upfront. Right now, currently, all of the internships are virtual, and going forward, it seems that way. We don't know when we'll get back to this, but when we do have in-person internships, housing there's no upfront cost, there's no credit check, and actually you don't need to worry about trying to fit it into your budget because it's automatically deducted from your paycheck for 60, and you don't even need to try to look into the area. We'll find you a place that's close to public transportation. There's grocery stores nearby, and it'll be fully furnished. And even you'll be with other HACU interns, which is good because you'll have a sense of community. You'll be in an area that you've probably never been before. You may not know anyone. And so that's also something that we like to have. So it's a real community sense. And then even travel to your internship will be at no cost. We'll pay for the round trip travel. So that's all covered. Again, this is something that we offer when we're back into in-person things. So just kind of keep that in mind. And so these are the registration deadlines. We have our first one coming up really soon for spring 2022, and that's October 29th, 2021. So it's coming up. I think it's next week, if I'm not mistaken. So I know maybe you're just hearing about this, but if you have the possibility to get in your resume as soon as possible, we definitely encourage that, as we are going to start filling positions soon. But if you can't, look to the next early deadline for summer 22, which is October 25th, which is coming up soon as well. And again, we just encourage you to submit it as early as possible, because we will be filling positions. It's more of a rolling deadline. As we get them in, we'll look through them and we'll fill the positions as need. So try not to wait till February 25th to try to turn in your application. Turn it in as soon as possible, and that would be the best for you all. So that, and then for the fall of 2022, it's June 3rd. Again, when it comes to applying, if you don't get an internship the first time, it's okay. It may not be because of your application and how it looked. Don't be discouraged. Continue to apply again, and we can find a place for you. Every time the need changes, depending on the department's needs that we're being asked of, majors requirements change. And so it could just be that one semester your major was just not as in need, but the next semester it is. So just encourage you, once you get it in, continue to apply for each session. And there's a good chance that you could get one, especially if you start after your freshman year. There's hope that hopefully by your senior year you could get an internship. And so this is some testimonials from former HACU interns that just shared their experience being interns. I'm sure there's a lot that you can learn professionally, not only just learning how to be in a work environment, which is just very different in itself, learning how to communicate with others and things like that, but also just having a good experience of getting into a federal government, which is not the easiest thing to do. And also being able to network with those around. It's a good experience for all. And so these are just some testimonials that we have. And so now I'll speak about our corporate internship. For this one, the requirements are a little bit different in terms of the US citizenship and things like that. So you'll have to look more into this one, as Hannah and I do focus a lot more on the federal side. But with requirements, they have more in terms of those that are graduating and those that are not citizens. So you'll definitely want to take a look. And this is the application process. You'll have to go to HNIP. So it is a different application. And then you'll have a pre-screening and a mock interview. And after you pass that mock interview, you will then be referred to employers and corporate interviews. And again, this is for our corporate internship programs. And so it's a little bit different, but you will have to have 2 different applications. And along with our corporate internships, we do offer academic scholarships. These ones do have a little more requirement. You do have to be attending a HACU member school and things like that. But it's a good opportunity just to apply for scholarships. You never know what you could actually get. So we're just here presenting this to you, and we hope that just go in and find the scholarships and just apply to as many as possible that meet your requirements. And it could help you in paying for school. And then this is our Adelante Leadership Institute. I believe the dates on this are wrong. It's for 2022. But this is also just a good opportunity that HACU presents in having leadership. I think Hannah can speak a little bit better on this part, but so I'll just pass over to her.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to chime in here. So for our Adelante Leadership Institute, again, this is just something that we want to draw your attention to, and something that you can look into more later. But for the Adelante Leadership Institute, it is basically a 3-day jam-packed professional development networking event. It is a great opportunity to grow as a professional and meet people, whether that's other students as well as contacts from corporations and federal agencies that you could work at in the future. So it's a really great experience. It's very well liked by students. So definitely worth checking out. I will also mention that it does have a cost associated with it for registering. But we actually have many corporate and federal agencies that actually sponsor students to attend. So you can look on our website to figure out how to obtain that obtain those sponsorships so that you can attend at no cost. So definitely check out our website for that. In terms of the Leader in Residence program, it's basically like the upperclassmen mentors for the Leadership Institute. So it's a even more, excuse me, a more expansive professional development and personal development program. So again, something to consider if this is of interest to you.
All right, and these are some of the services that we provide, and I'll just point you to the Pro Talento job board posting, especially for those that are graduating soon, as maybe you may not be able to qualify for a spring 22 internship. But if you do visit the Pro Talento job board posting, you can put your resume there and find job postings there, as people do reach out to us and reach out to the HACU network so that we can find people to fill this position. So I'll just point you to that in specific, and the website is there. And so now, well, I know you guys have been asking questions in the chat, but feel free to continue if you have any more questions. I believe the only way you can do it is through the chat. So we're just here to answer whatever questions you would have. So go ahead and feel free.
I will just chime in since I've been monitoring the chat a little bit. I just want to mention that somebody is asking for the Pro Talento job link. I will make sure to get that in the chat here. And then I also just wanted to review some of the questions that came up. So first, I'm just sending the Pro Talento job board link. In terms of the questions, somebody was asking about the virtual versus in person, and I know Anthony then touched on this a little bit later, but I'll just again reiterate that our internships for spring are fully remote for spring 2022, that is. For summer 2022, we also anticipate that our internships will be virtual. At the very least, the vast majority will probably be virtual for summer. Historically speaking, pre-COVID, all of our internships were in person and they were full-time, but I guess a silver lining to COVID was that federal agencies figured out how to make virtual internships work. And I think some of the federal agencies have been really have liked virtual internships and figured out that it's a lot more accessible to students, and it fits in their workflow pretty nicely. Additionally, we started offering part-time options when we went virtual. And so moving forward beyond spring and summer, I do expect that we will have a combination of offers. I bet that we will have in person, we will have hybrid, and we will have remote, and we will have part-time, and we will have full-time. That is something moving forward that I think we will have. So, which makes this an even more accessible internship, because you will able to find something that fits your needs and your life and your studies. Another question in the chat. Oh, did you want to add something, Anthony?
Oh, no, I was going to go on to the next question, but it's okay. Oh,
go for it.
Yeah, so we have the next question about getting involved as a psych major that is white, and would it be more helpful to look at internships that are available? So first of all, I know our name is Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. That is our mission. We do support Hispanic serving institutes and to support the Hispanic community. But when it comes to our internships, it is open to all races, all backgrounds. So it's not limited to being Hispanic. And along with majors, it's the same way. We have a plethora of internships with different kinds of backgrounds. And when we get our requests for interns, they will give us a list of majors, and it could really be anything. So just depending on the session, we can't know exactly right away, again, which is why we encourage you to apply to multiple sessions. But there's definitely something for every major. Yeah, just, I don't know how much you guys know about the federal government, but there really is, there's room for everything. There's no lack in terms of what backgrounds you will need. So even if you're a psych major, it's okay. We still encourage you to apply.
Absolutely. And I'll just expand on that. I believe someone was also inquiring about searching for our jobs and HACU is basically, we work with the federal agencies to fill positions, and they can send us the requests to fill positions at any time, really. And we encourage that because we want to be accessible and be able to then in turn offer these positions to students. So we accept requests from agencies, ongoing. And what that means is that we don't have one site with all our jobs because it is constantly changing. And we are constantly adding more, constantly filling some. So there isn't per se a way to search for the jobs that are available. However, that is actually kind of the great thing about our application is that you apply once and are considered for all of the positions that we have. As soon as we receive your application, it is being considered for positions. So that's again why we encourage you to apply early, because we will fill requests as we get them from agencies. And so if we fill a request before we received your application, then you unfortunately can't be considered for that position. But with that but that also means we are reviewing on a rolling basis. We're talking to you on October 20th. If you don't think you can make that October 25th or that October 29th deadline, it's okay. You can apply a little bit after. But just know that we obviously encourage you to apply sooner rather than later to be considered for more positions. I hope that helps answer that question. And on the major part, I just thought I would expand by providing an example. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is actually our biggest partner in where we place interns. And I think they serve as a really great example because you might think agriculture, okay, like that's only going to be students from College of, Agriculture and Life Sciences. Well, that's not the case because USDA also has need for IT and need for HR and need for business and need for international affairs and communicating with other departments. They also do nutrition, which plays into social work. So there's a whole array, as Anthony already mentioned, within each agency, not only just the federal government. So we do truly place students with all majors and all levels. Definitely don't hesitate to apply because of a major or because of your background. We do not limit our applicant pool in that way.
Yeah. And the next question is, do we have to have experience in something to be in this internship program? So that is, short answer again is no, you don't need to have experience. But again, when putting in your application, you do want to have a competitive application, as we do receive a lot of applications to fill it. So whereas you still can get an internship without having any work experience or things like that, it's not directly required. Again, we're going to send these to the federal agencies and they're going to look through it. And so you just want to have the best application that you can have. And so also for this, I'll point you guys to career services again, or your resources that you have on campus, because I believe that you guys all have some experience. You just don't know how to word it. You don't know how to put it into your resume, or maybe it's something that you overlooked or something that you didn't think should be on a resume, but it's still an experience. And so again, we definitely want to point you to your career services because they can definitely help you out with that, and help you draw out those experiences that you do have to add to your application.
I'd like to add to that. This is Jan Potsman from the Career Center. And I'd just like to add that we do have resources for you. We have resources that are remote. We have resources that are in person. If you go to our webpage, which is career or csun.edu/career, you can see all the resources that we have to offer to you. We have CareerLink, which has lots of information about resume writing, interviewing, etc., as well as our drop-in hours. We have that available to you. And then you had mentioned the writing centers. We do have a writing center, and that you would find in the university library. And so you would be able to access them. I would go to the library website and just look for that resource. So there are a couple of different places. We don't write your resume for you, but we do give you resources, and we help you figure out that even if you've never had a job before, you still have a lot of skills that you've developed over time, and we'll help you share those skills on your resume.
Yes.
Absolutely. I, in fact, always love to give the example that, maybe you had experience as a waiter or a waitress, and you are now studying computer science, and you have no idea how a waiter or waitressing job relates to an IT internship. But in reality, it does connect, because as a waiter or a waitress, you most definitely learned how to communicate effectively, provide good customer service, time management skills, interpersonal skills. So there's a lot you can get from a job that's not the same as the job that you're going to be using it in. And the same goes for other types of experiences. There's a lot of different ways that you can market yourself. And I think I'm from the Midwest personally, and sometimes it's a little uncomfortable to brag about yourself, but that is literally what you want to do in an application. You want to brag about yourself. And so sometimes that's being creative in figuring out how you want to talk about that. Maybe you've done some volunteer experience and you could add that into our work history section. Maybe you took some really awesome specific courses that you want to highlight in the essay section or in the special skills section. Maybe you did a website for a neighbor or a social media page for a neighbor's small business. That's something you can write on your application. So there's a lot of, maybe clubs and organizations on your campus. If you're a part of Relay for Life or Habitat for Humanity, those are all situations in which you are going to learn transferable skills that will apply to a job. And so you just have to be able to spin those experiences to be able to apply them to an internship. But there are surely points there that you can spin. Any other questions?
Remember, if you have any questions, you can put them right into the chat.
Before we end, I'd also maybe just like to clarify the U.S. citizenship requirement. So as Anthony said, this is based on security clearance requirements. This is not a HACU rule. It's not even necessarily an internship specific rule, but rather just the necessity of having US citizenship for the security clearance that is required. We are finding that most of our positions do require a security clearance that requires US citizenship. But we do have, I know this semester, we have a DACA student serving as an intern in a position that didn't require that for security clearance. So we still welcome DACA, permanent residents, legally authorized to work in the US, students to apply. Just know that there might be less positions available, but we will certainly do our best to match you and place you accordingly. Oh, and one other point on that is that there's a question on the application about that, about your citizenship and immigration status. And I just want to be very clear that that is only used for eligibility purposes. It is not used for further assessment. So if a position requires US citizenship, then we look at that. If a position requires that you're just simply legally authorized to work in the US, then we no longer look at that question because anybody is eligible. So it's purely used for eligibility. I see some questions in the chat about how to view this session, and I think we're getting some folks from CSUN to answer that, which is great. And yep, also, what does HACU stand for? The Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. But as you can imagine, if I said that all day long, I would lose my voice. So we say HACU around here. Likewise, HNIP refers to HACU's National Internship Program.
If there, do we have any, well, I have one more question I see down in the chat. What is that? Oh, I think it's already been answered. So I do love how our students are sort of answering the questions that are posed in the chat because.
Yeah, I love that cooperation. That's awesome.
You know, you can see that's very much the spirit at CSUN. Okay, let me see. They asked me to start my video here. So actually, John, can you put me on screen? Can you spotlight me, please? Well, while he does that, I think that most of your questions have been answered today. If you have, I don't see myself, John.
I think we see you.
You see me?
Yep, we see you in Spotlight.
Okay, all right, good. So what I'd like to say is, first of all, thank you for both Hannah and Anthony for joining us today. It really means a lot to our students that you are here, that you share this amazing program with them. For those of the students that were concerned about it being remote, actually, I have just as many students are concerned about going to Washington, D.C. So I will tell you that I have met former HACU interns before from CSUN, and that's the first time they've ever flown in a plane. It's the first time they've had that experience to fly away from their family. It's really an amazing experience. You will connect with so many people. So I encourage you all to apply. This session has been live streamed on YouTube, and we will be posting it on the CSUN Career Center YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and you want to review what our speakers have shared with you, you'll have a chance to review. And then, of course, you can always, do they have your contact information?
I actually just reposted in the chat our emails for the
Okay.
corporate program as well as the federal program. Anthony and I manage the HNIP at HACU email, so we hope to see your contacts.
Please connect with them because these opportunities are so amazing. I don't know how to say it better. If you're interested in working in a government setting for your future, and we had many people sign up for LA County internship opportunities. Government agencies offer amazing different types of internships, and federal is kind of at the top. If you want to choose for it, obviously it's up to you, but they have very good benefits. They have a good rate of pay, not as high as a corporate, but you're getting great benefits to offset that. So please, I want to say thank you once again, and to actually ask Anna to please post our poll and see if we can get people to respond to that.
Jan, if I may, while everybody is responding to the survey or the poll question, if I may just also add, the federal, this HACU program, if I had known about it as a student, I would have applied, no question. I don't say that out of bias now in my role. I truly think it's a phenomenal program. And if you have any desire to work in the federal government, it is definitely worth your while to apply. Getting into the federal government can be difficult. And so taking this opportunity to get your foot in the door is extremely helpful. And even if you don't want a career in the federal government, having this on your resume is going to look great no matter where you go. So I hope we can leave you with that today, that, this is definitely an internship worth your while. And we look forward to seeing applications.
Yes. And then if Anna, if you will please take a screenshot of the poll. And then finally, just to wrap it up, thank you for taking the time to connect with our students. I've always been a supporter of HACU because like I said, they're amazing internships. So please seek them out, go onto the webpage. If you have questions that if you don't hear back from HACU, you can always connect with us. And that's, you would email me at career.internships with an S at CSUN.edu. Again, that's career.internships at CSUN.edu. Lots of thanks coming out to you, to the two of you. So we are going to wrap it up for today, and take care. All do well and have a good weekend. Bye-bye.